Nothing to hide in the land scam, in the mining scam. Why does he just not show up?
Temple is not being built on a disputed structure. The temple always existed there. The date.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. In what can be seen as a setback to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, he has been asked to appear before Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court on February 17 on ED's complaint over non-compliance of summons in the excise policy case. Kejriwal has skipped 5 summons so far, remember. His party men Sanjay Singh and Manish Sisodia are in custody over the same case for many months. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has reacted by saying that they are studying the order and they will take action as per law. They added that they will inform the court how all ED summons were illegal. This is what the CM has been saying in response to the summons publicly. It is crunch time now for the party. Will the political vendetta or witch hunt argument or the summons being illegal argument hold water in court or not? In fact, what happens in this case could well have repercussions on many other cases, especially ones involving opposition leaders ahead of elections. Many of them have been making the political vendetta argument publicly over raids or cases against them. Already, the Supreme Court has upheld ED's powers regarding arrest, search, attachment and seizure in money laundering offences, the validity of the PMLA Act, and even upholding the reversal of the burden of proof under the PMLA. The Supreme Court has also remarked in the past that there cannot be separate guidelines for politicians in such cases. If court also validates ED's power to summon without providing any breakdown of reasons, as Arvind Kejriwal has asked for, it could put paid on opposition's campaign against central agencies. The big question today though is this: will Arvind Kejriwal now comply? We take that to our guests in just a bit. First, let me just break down what the ED pleaded before court. The agency has actually not pulled any punches against Kejriwal's refusal to appear in this case. So the ED plea said that the accused is a high-ranking public functionary. They're using the word accused here, although Arvind Kejriwal is not an accused so far in the liquor case. But in this complaint, he's the accused. So that is why the term accused comes. They also say the accused respondent is expected to obey the law. If persons holding high offices like him disobey, then it sets a wrong example. The respondent intentionally omitted and failed to appear. Now, this is very key. The agency making the charge on intent. Despite numerous summons, the respondent failed to appear on various dates because, as I mentioned, it's been 5 summons so far. Committed offence by intentionally disobeying public servant's order. This is an offence, mind you, as per Indian Penal Code. Instead of attending summons, Kejriwal raised frivolous objections. This could refer to the fact that Kejriwal has been saying these are illegal summons. They haven't really described to him the grounds on which that they are calling him as a witness or as an accused, in what case, in what role, etc. The ED also had gone on to say that the accused has created grounds that show intentionally did not want to obey summons. So again, they say that the grounds that he has used show that actually the intention was just to not come. The next one is also very interesting because they actually say that these are lame excuses with an intention to make out a false defense. Kejriwal's intention was to disobey the summons, the agency reiterates, and the intent was to create a false pretext to camouflage such intention. The big question we asked today is simply this: will Arvind Kejriwal now comply given that this is a court order and not really an agency summons? Let's go across to our guests joining us. Anuja Kapoor, spokesperson of the BJP, Vandana Sinha from the Aam Aadmi Party joining us. Satyendra Singh is former Deputy Director, ED. Ashwini Dubey is an advocate in the Supreme Court. I do thank you all for your time. Vandana Sinha, I want to begin with you. Could you update us if the Aam Aadmi Party has decided anything after the court order? We've also accessed a copy of the court order, and the court is very clear that prima facie an offence is made out against Arvind Kejriwal under the Indian Penal Code.
Good evening to everyone. First of all, I want to say the summon which has been issued by the court, we will definitely respond to it. Aam Aadmi Party never disobeyed or never violated any law or rules. So definitely we are going to read the summon which will be received from the court. And as far as the summons has been served to Arvind Kejriwal by ED, as we already said, the summon, because the ED has power to serve the summon under section 50 PMLA. They served it was a politically motivated summon, even though every time Arvind Kejriwal has responded to summon and asked under what provision it has been sent, because every summon has a schedule. The schedule was not properly mentioned in the summon which has been served. There was nothing in the annexures as well, no questionnaires. Every summons we have responded and asking the ED under what investigations they have called us, because if the schedule has all the information about the offence, whether the ED is calling calling Arvind Kejriwal as a witness, as an accused, or what the document he has to bring, but nothing has been mentioned. It was contrary to the law. It was deliberately said.
Yeah, but ma'am,
in
the court will,
ma'am,
Vandana Sinha, with due respect, the court will decide that now. I know that is your argument, but you have to present yourself in front of the court. You can't sit in judgment. This is precisely the problem with the stand that Arvind Kejriwal or the Aam Aadmi Party had taken. You can't declare a summons illegal. And many people had asked the question, why doesn't Arvind Kejriwal go to court to question these summons? Now the ED has done that. You could argue the ED has duly taken Arvind Kejriwal to court, which is what the Aam Aadmi Party should have done if you had a problem with the summons.
Now, if we have received the summon from the court, we will definitely reply it. We never disobeyed any order of the court. We will see what is the order which has been passed by any other court, and definitely we will challenge the summon.
Of course you will comply unless you decide you don't want to. So that's not really, a wonderful argument to make. Of course you will comply. That's not my question. My question is, first, if you had decided anything, I think your team said last we heard from them that you will look at it and proceed accordingly. But on the argument of illegality of these summons, can I just read out what we have managed to access of the order today by the court summoning Arvind Kejriwal on February 17th next? Prima facie case of disobeying summons is made out against Arvind Kejriwal. Prima facie offence under section 174 of the Indian Penal Code 1860 made out. There are sufficient grounds for proceeding under section 204 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 against Arvind Kejriwal. Is that, according to the BJP, an indictment of Mr. Kejriwal? You feel that you've been vindicated in this case? Anuja. Anuja, this is for Anuja. Because this order prima facie establishes ED's case, and ED has made very strong arguments which I'm running on screen, what they pleaded in court.
Jai Shri Ram, good evening to you and to my panelists and to the viewers. So now there is an interesting catch which is going on. A Lok Nayak, Khal Nayak, now become a lawyer and now playing a victimhood card. This is very good, and he's done it in an excellent way, in a melodramatic way. He's always done it. The person who believed that there should be a Lokayuk in the states now is talking and evading the ED summons. The person who believed that the resignation should be first and then the investigation should follow is the one who's sitting on his seat shamelessly and trying to become an absconder in running in the states on the name of the elections. ED has not only talked about the charge sheet. The ED has already talked about the charge sheet long way back, in which they have said that in the court during when they had an assistant Kejriwal questioning will be coming soon, when they grilled the personal assistant Bhevav Kumar. He is the Dialogue and Development Commissioner, Vice Chairman of Jasmine Shah. So at that time, Kejriwal was already been asked, and they have talked about it in the court, that they will bring Kejriwal in the court. And the court had talked about that the AAP should be a part of the party in this case. Now, Arvind Kejriwal, as a Chief Minister of Delhi and as a conveyor of Aam Aadmi Party, and under whose guidance the liquor scam happened, so he is the one who has to answer and question.
Again,
we see this as a fiduciary relationship, and we see that in a principal and agent also, when we have a fiduciary relationship under this.
Again, the court will ultimately decide if there is that responsibility that the Chief Minister has to fulfill. In some ways, it is good that this has now gone to court, because we've seen a lot of these arguments of political vendetta being made in public discourse.
Why do we have to go to the court?
No, the ED has gone. The ED has gone to court. Just let me finish, Anuja. I think it's a good thing, because a lot of this political witch hunt argument is made. You would notice that actually, legally speaking, none of these arguments are never made in court in any of these cases. Now, it will be very interesting to see what Arvind Kejriwal says in court. Is he going to say that, yes, this was political vendetta against me, the way the ED was summoning me? Is he going to say the summons were illegal because there was this reasoning not meted out to me? On that, I also want to go across to Satyendra ji, who's joining us. He's a former ED official. अरविंद केजरीवाल ने बार बार यही बोला है कि उनको रीजन नहीं बताया जाता, उनको ये नहीं बताया गया कि वो अक्यूज्ड हैं, विटनेस हैं, किस कैपेसिटी में बुलाया जा रहा है, किस सेक्शन के अंडर बुलाया जा रहा है. अभी आपने सुना होगा आम आदमी पार्टी की स्पोक्सपर्सन ने क्या बोला, इसलिए उनके लिए ये समन्स इलीगल थे. अब तो खैर ये कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगा वो क्या आर्ग्यूमेंट रखते हैं कोर्ट के सामने, बट एज एन ईडी ऑफिशियल आप क्या कहेंगे जो उनका तर्क रहा है अभी तक?
शिवानी जी नमस्कार, आपको भी और सभी दर्शकों को भी. देखिए, ये जो तर्क है इसको मैं कुतर्क कहता हूं, ये तर्क नहीं है. ईडी ने जो भी सम्मन किए हैं वो जो सेक्शन 50 में पावर्स हैं उसी के तहत किए गए हैं, और उन पावर्स को माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय अपहेल्ड कर चुका है. सेक्शन 50 में कहीं ये प्रावधान नहीं है कि ये बताया जाए कि आपसे क्या सवाल पूछे जाएंगे, आप एक्यूज हैं, आप गवाह हैं, ऐसा कोई प्रोविजन है ही नहीं. और
किस केस में बुलाया जा रहा है, किस सेक्शन के अंडर बुलाया जा रहा है, ये बताना पड़ता है.
मैं बताऊं, देखिए सेक्शन तो 50 का सम्मन जाता है, उसमें क्लियर मेंशन है कि अंडर द सेक्शन 50 आपको कॉल किया गया है. इसके अलावा कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो ईडी को यदि जरूरत होती है तो वो शेड्यूल में लिखा जाता है. लेकिन ये कहना कि साहब हमें आप एक्यूज के हैसियत से बुला रहे हैं, गवाह के हैसियत से बुला रहे हैं, या हमसे क्या सवाल पूछे जाएंगे, तो क्या ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन इनको पहले से बता दिया जाए कि क्या इन्वेस्टिगेट होने जा रहा है, क्या सबूत एजेंसी के पास है? तो ऐसा कोई प्रावधान एक्ट में नहीं है. और ये देखिए, देश में जो भी कानून है हमारे यहाँ, उनमें कहीं भी ये नहीं लिखा हुआ कि आम आदमी के लिए कानून अलग होगा, उसके प्रावधान
और पॉलिटिशियंस के लिए अलग होगा. नहीं, ये बात तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट कह चुका है. बहुत सारे ऑपोजिशन लीडर्स गए थे आर्बिट्रेरी केसेस का एलिगेशन लेके सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने खुद बोला था कि पॉलिटिशियंस के लिए कोई अन्य मापदंड थोड़ी ना होंगे, जो रूल है वो रूल है.
जी हाँ, फिर भी देखिए, इनको पूरी छूट दी गई कि आप ये डेट्स है, आप बताएं कि आपका बयान कहाँ रिकॉर्ड किया जाए, आप जगह बता दें हमें, क्योंकि आम जो आदमी है उसको ये सुविधा नहीं दी जाती. तो इनको सुविधा दी गई है. अब आरोप लगाना अपनी जगह है कि आरोप लगाएं. अब अदालत का सम्मन आ गया है
जी.
मैं जहां तक समझता हूं उसको इलीगल नहीं कह पाएंगे ये पब्लिकली.
Well, that is the thing. Now, politically, one could argue that Arvind Kejriwal has been pushed into a corner, because you can allege whatever you want against an agency, you can call their summons illegal, not attend, but you can't do that against a court. And surely you would now be expected to put on record legally What is your argument for not appearing before the ED so far? The agency could argue that it has been patient. In fact, Ashwini Dubey, I want to come to you. I read out what the plea of the ED was, and it's a pretty strong plea. You know, they've basically said Arvind Kejriwal has been making lame excuses. This was with an intention to just not appear. There were, grounds on which, frivolous grounds on which that he was arguing not coming, don't stand. And I read out what the court order is also saying, that prima facie offence under section 174, section 204 are applicable. And therefore, they've naturally asked the person concerned to appear to present their case. What are the options, if any, available before Arvind Kejriwal now?
Thank you, Shivani, for having me here. Shivani, it's an ongoing investigation where many people are already in jail. And Shivani, when any agency, the law of the land says that when any agency wants any either individual or any authority to investigate during the investigation of a matter to appear before the agency, that person is bound. And being the chief minister, having on such a constitutional post, the responsibility is much more than any individual. It's not a first time. For first, second, third, fourth, fifth summons have been issued. And if anyone is aggrieved by the process, then there are courts. One can challenge the summons to the court of law and may get it declared as a null and void, saying that, look, you don't have authority to issue a summons. So far as the powers are concerned, power of any investigator, including the prime investigating agency, Enforcement Directorate, is well versed. That has been upheld by the Honorable Supreme Court in one of the judgment that, look,
on the issue of summons, you must have heard what Arvind Kejriwal's argument is. Has this come up before courts in the past? Is there any judgment that the current court could rely on? Because Arvind Kejriwal's argument has been that these are illegal summons. He has questioned the intention plus the due process followed by the ED.
The process is only issue summons and to ask any person to appear and to depose the answers asked by any agency. And so far as the issuing summons and powers of ED are concerned, that has been given in the Act, PMLA Act section 50, which says that they can issue summons either as an accused or either an witness to ask to depose either as an accused or the witness. So here, if he is avoiding summons, then there are two processes. Either he should challenge the summons, and there is no law which can declare any summon to be invalid unless it has been issued by mistake or unless it has been issued to a third person.
So there is not a certain pattern or a certain format that the summon has to be in. I think that has been what Aam Aadmi Party's contention has been.
The formats are already there. The formats of any, either the police format or the CBI format or ED formats, notice or the court's format. The formats have been laid down and there is one format only. Only thing is they have to mention that what is the time, what is the date, which is the place. And it is not the first time. This is the fifth time summons have been issued. So very first day he should have gone there instead of crying for the political vendetta. Because you remember, it is a case which is being investigating where under the private individual civil service deputy, they opposed the liquor policy. And that too at that point of time when COVID was there and the policy came into picture, then many people are there languishing in the jail, and courts have still not termed that offence to be based on the political vendetta.
Right.
Relying on the investigation of the
I want to understand from you very quickly, now that the court has issued summons, and I think the difficulty for Arvind Kejriwal could be, I don't know how he views it, but could be that he's been asked to appear in person. So, are there any options before the Chief Minister to say, okay, I'm not coming in person, but I will send my response to you, or what are the options?
So, he can ask, but see, it's the court order. Not going there, court may issue the warrant. Court may ask the Enforcement Directorate that, look, this person disobeyed my order and it's a criminal case, so warrant are hereby issued. So warrant, either he should challenge this order before the appellate court. Appellate court may either say that, look, order is bad in law, therefore we are quashing it or we are upholding it. Or if he does not appear on the February 17th, court may ask the Enforcement Directorate to issue the warrants. This is the process. This is which involved in any criminal jurisprudence, in any criminal law. This is the
So
process.
this is where the difficulty is, Vandana Sinha. You know, both procedurally now, you can't be seen to be dilly-dallying. You have to make yourself available. A court summon is not the same as an agency summon. And secondly, politically also, you cannot be seen as dithering on appearing. Chief Minister, if anyone, has even greater responsibility to uphold the law and to cooperate.
Shivani, as I already said, it's not like that when we have received the summon, we have properly respond to the summon, asking ED to send a proper summon, and the summon which has been issued by the court, it's just a summon. So definitely we are going to respond it. If it is required, Arvind Kejriwal must appear before the court. Secondly, it's a summon which has been issued on the plea, which has been submitted by the ED itself. We also have to explain how the summon was not as per the law, how it was arbitrary, how it was illegal. So the summon which has been issued on the plea, which has been the submission has been made by the ED. Now the court has to hear Arvind Kejriwal too. Then only the court can be come into a conclusion, because this is very early to comment, because summon can be issued on the basis of any allegations made by any party. So definitely the summon has been issued. So we are going to reply it. We will obey the court orders. We never disobeyed the court order.
But before I go to Anuja, Vandana ji, wouldn't you accept that this is worse than, let's say, if you believed so strongly that the summons were illegal, you should have gone to court. You should have had the upper hand and gone to court and say these summons are illegal, please quash them against me, or ask the ED to furnish the summons in a better way, in the proper way that we believe hasn't been followed. Now what has happened is the ED has taken the Chief Minister to court.
See, every time, because we followed all the rule, all the law, all the procedure, every time we ask the ED to send a proper summon to us.
Ma'am, can I just say, if you followed every process, every rule, every procedure, the court wouldn't have said that prima facie there is evidence of the fact that you were refusing to appear illegally. This is a criminal case.
No, it's. I mean, like the ED, first ED has to, because how we are going to appear before the ED if ED has not sent a proper schedule which contains all the information, whether we have to appear as an accused, we have to appear as a witness, or we have to, what documents we have to bring. It is the procedure. It is a procedure, and the ED also have to follow everything.
Okay, all agencies keep saying this is not required. I just asked Satyendra ji, I will give him one more opportunity. But Anuja, you want to respond very quickly. Politically, does this strengthen your argument?
I really don't understand what Aam Aadmi Party is trying to create, this mockery of their own party. And I would just say, why would the court will give the ED summons? It is the ED who has to give the summons. It is the job of the agency, of the investigation agency. And what is proper summon? I really don't understand this line of what is the proper summon and how many precedents can you give me right now? Ma'am, please. Ma'am, please be quiet, ma'am. Ma'am, please be quiet.
One by one, please. One by one, please.
What is the proper summon, and how do you get a proper summon, and how many people till now, till date, in so many years, ED has given summon and CBI has given summon to so many. How come Arvind Kejriwal is above that? And there are people who have gone on the investigation. A common man has gone, even a chief minister has gone, and there are people in various areas who have gone and the summons and got into investigated. So why Arvind Kejriwal is such a special darling for all the people? I would like to answer a question on 2nd November. If this was such a big issue for you and you are questioning the ED, what is it, on which basis you try to evade the agencies? Because Supreme Court has said that there is a trial of rupees 338 crore. That is why Sanjay Singh is not out. So you have to talk about that too. And
one
now
by
they
one.
have
One
also
second.
said that
One
ED
second.
their
Today's
ED has
court. One
said
second.
that the quit.
Today's court order has nothing to do with the merits of the case. Let's not get into that because, you know, that's another argument. We've had that argument over a period of time. The case is not done. The trial is not done. Let's not pass judgments on what the court will decide in future. The ED has made, the agencies have made their case.
Talked about this.
No, one second. The agency, no, I'm sorry. You cannot present, no, I'm sorry, Anuja, you cannot present it like that. The ED has made its case in court. The court is listening to the ED's case. The trial has not happened. The trial has not happened. Nobody has been indicted and nobody has been convicted.
It is not about the trial also.
No,
It is not about the trial also, Shivani.
Even the trail that, even the money trail you're talking, one second ma'am, even the money trail you're talking about is now still subject to a trial. It has to be proved yet.
Subject or there is not, Shivani. The thing is, he has to be present.
That's a separate matter. I'm just saying, don't argue the merits of the case as if the case has been decided.
I am not saying anything. The already Supreme Court has said it is the prima facie. It's a merit in the ED charge. So it's not me who's saying anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, prima facie is prima facie. That's what I said. It's not a judgment on
that's
it.
What I'm even.
One second.
So that's what even I'm saying.
Yeah, Satyendra ji, very quickly, this schedule thing that Vandana ji is talking about, I think I would be remiss if I don't ask you to clarify. ये schedule चीज क्या है जो वंदना जी बार-बार बोल रही हैं कि हमारे समन्स में नहीं थी, इसलिए हम नहीं आए थे.
जी, देखिए शेड्यूल जो होता है, शेड्यूल में कुछ भी नहीं होता. शेड्यूल में ये होता है कि आप ये डॉक्यूमेंट साथ में लेकर आए. ठीक है. जिसकी जरूरत होती है एजेंसी आईओ समझता है कि मुझे इनकी जरूरत तो और पड़ेगी. जैसे बहुत सिंपल होता है. देखिए जब पहली बार बुलाया जाता है किसी को तो बहुत सिंपल चीजें होती है कि आप अपनी पासपोर्ट डिटेल लाइए, आधार लाइए, आपके कहाँ का बैंक अकाउंट है, आपके फैमिली मेंबर्स कौन कौन है, किस किस कंपनी में आपका बिजनेस इंटरेस्ट है, कहाँ कहाँ आपके लोगों के बैंक अकाउंट है, आपकी आईटीआर की कॉपी लाइए पिछले इतने साल की. ये शेड्यूल में ऐसी चीजें होती हैं. शेड्यूल में कहीं ये नहीं होता कि ये क्वेश्चंस हैं जो कि हम आपसे पूछेंगे तो आप इसकी तैयारी
नहीं. बट अगर ये कह रहे हैं, आम आदमी पार्टी के लोग कह रहे हैं कि हमारे जो समन्स थे उसमें ये शेड्यूल मेंशन नहीं था, तो क्या वो समन इलीगल नहीं हो जाता फिर?
देखिए यदि शेड्यूल में कुछ भी नहीं है तो भी समन इलीगल नहीं होता, क्योंकि समन दिया गया है आपको अपीयर होने के लिए कि यू हैव टू अपीयर, और जो क्वेश्चन आपको आईओ पूछेगा जिसने समन इश्यू किया उसका आपको जवाब देना है. यू हैव टू डिपोज. तो शेड्यूल नहीं भी है, मान लीजिए पहले समन में एक शेड्यूल गया, आपने वो डॉक्यूमेंट सारे भेज दिए लेकिन आप अपीयर नहीं हुए, ठीक है, तो दूसरे समन में उस शेड्यूल को दोबारा तो नहीं लिखा जाएगा. तो ये कहना कि मुझे नहीं पता शेड्यूल था या नहीं था, क्योंकि मैं
जी
मेरी नॉलेज
ये
में
तो अब
नहीं
एजेंसी
है.
बताएगी कोर्ट में. और
लेकिन यदि शेड्यूल नहीं भी है तो सम्मन
इलीगल नहीं होता. I think Ashwini Dubey was mentioning, the lawyer on the panel, that there is actually no provision under which a summon can be declared illegal unless there was some factual error or an error of a mistake under which it was issued.
Or the officer who issued the summon, who is not authorized to issue
that summon. I get what you're saying.
Yes.
So I don't know where this legal argument has come from. At that time, it was said that Hemant Soren had also used these arguments and Arvind Kejriwal could be taking a leaf out of his book. Now, Hemant Soren, we know what has happened. Eventually, he has had to comply and eventually he has been taken into custody as well. Yeah. Perhaps it is an arrest that the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal are fearing. They do say publicly that we are going to be arrested and that is what the BJP is looking for. I do request my guests to just stay on with me for 2 minutes because I'm getting another update which is in context to this case that we're talking about, which is the liquor scam case. Now there is another setback to Aam Aadmi Party today. Jailed Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh has not got any relief from Delhi High Court. The High Court has denied bail to Sanjay Singh in this matter, saying there is no ground for bail made out at this stage. I want to go across to Vandana ji very quickly. This is the political problem, Vandana, that courts are not giving you any relief despite the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party has been saying there is no case. There is not even a line of case. There is no evidence. There is nothing against our leaders, but no relief is coming from the courts.
Shivani, I'll tell you, because PMLA is the only act in India where getting a bail is almost impossible. Because PMLA, जो act है, is specifically this is for the narcotics and terrorism. So the act was like that. and taking advantage of this act, the BJP using their agencies, they indulge all the opposition's leader in only PMLA. So because there is no case for the IPC, no case for CRPC. The only all the opposition's leaders are enlisted with the PMLA, because getting a bail in the PMLA cases are almost impossible. So it is very clear that why all the opposition's leaders are being enlisted in only PMLA cases or
okay. Anuja, 30 seconds to you as well. Sanjay Singh denied bail by the High Court as well.
I think again, when you were talking about the high courts, you just said, Shivani, it is all about the courts. So the courts know about the situation. Courts have seen the evidence. I am also a lawyer. When we put our contentions in front of the judge, they look into the evidence. They don't look at the face of who's the person who's standing. Is it a party of some politicians or not? Because in court, everybody is equal and equal rights are being given and equal towards the court.
Okay.
So you have to talk about it in the evidence in the court. Now, when I'm saying this, they are talking about the PMLA. I don't think it is about the PMLA who cannot give the bail or not. It is the thing that the situation which is in front of you, the evidences, the prima facie, and they have also talked about during the agency, the probe agency has said that the Sanjay Singh created a special purpose vehicle to launder money. That is what the contention was being given in the court right now. And so, do you think this is a joke? No, this is not a joke.
No, I think the charges are very serious.
Yes, it is.
Running out of time, I think the charges are very, very serious. There will be both political and legal implications and accountability that has to be set. And fundamentally, given the political climate that we are in, it will have to be done via courts. We'll see what happens on February 17 or before that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Coming up after a very short break, Centre versus South over funds allocations intensifies. Karnataka leaders today, the entire cabinet was in Delhi to lay siege against the Centre. We'll get you more in just a minute.
Co-powered by. So PhonePe does not have a bank of its own, but PhonePe is providing you UPI services. PhonePe is providing you an app to transfer your money, etc. So if Paytm Bank goes out of the picture, Paytm can still very well collaborate with other banks that are available and continue providing those services. And that is exactly what Paytm has clarified, that what ideally, in an ideal world, they would have continued providing services through their own bank. It would have reduced cost for them. It would have made commercial sense. Now, since that is not there, they will have to scout for partnerships with other banks. As soon as the partnerships start getting forged, the services will continue as is.
From what we also understood was largely the implication is on the vendors, because they are the one making the payments. Your and mine is at the end of the day a wallet that can be accessed. You can still withdraw, but like you said, it can still Paytm to ease out transactions for its customers can easily tie up with other banks and make it happen. But let me take this specific question that I asked you of Sanjeet Gaur, who says, how about Paytm postpaid? So what will happen there?
So for postpaid also, now since the postpaid was more of a credit service, so since the banking regulation is not there, that service through Paytm Bank will stop. As I said, if Paytm forges alliance with another bank, through that they may continue to provide the credit service under the brand name Paytm, but the provider would be an HDFC or an ICICI, some other bank, and not the Paytm Bank, which has been directed to stop the services.
Got it. There's another question from Rai Vishal. I think his name is Vishal Rai _24. Thanks, Vishal, for your question. He says, what about mutual fund investments that are happening through Paytm? What about them?
Yes. So typically what we would do is that, we would have a bank account which we would, give an e-instruction that every month the SIP is getting debited for the mutual fund, or we make an investment, right? So that will get stopped. So suppose if you have 1 lakh in your Paytm Bank account, so till your SIP is within that limit, the debit will continue as is. But once that amount is exhausted, then you will have to change the bank account to some other bank.
I see.
So suppose you have a mutual fund in which you have given your Paytm bank as the main account for debit. So that will go out once the balance is exhausted.
Right.
And then you will have to change the account for debit. But suppose if you have given Paytm account for receiving the proceeds of a mutual fund sale or dividend of a share, that you will continue receiving.
That you will continue receiving
That you will-
despite new deposits being restricted by RBI.
Yes, so you cannot transact using that account, but you can still receive your interests, you can receive your dividends, you can receive your payments, etc.
Let's just look at the timeline and how the story has unfolded. It all began on the 29th of February when the RBI imposed significant restrictions on Paytm. That meant it effectively barred it from doing three things. Number one, accepting new customers. Number two, allowing deposits or top-ups in existing accounts. And number three, onboarding any merchants or new payment instruments such as FASTags, etc. Now, this unexpected move obviously sent shockwaves all across. Left you and me wondering, what does this mean for my Paytm wallet? The future of the bank itself was under question. Now, Paytm shares on that day fell 40% in 2 trading sessions. The founder, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, gave out a statement quite quickly then saying that there is no need to worry, that the money is safe, and while new deposits are restricted, withdrawals, your money already in their wallets, will continue to happen. But what exactly happened? Why did RBI take such a drastic action? So what Money Control has been learning, and here on Network 18 what we've been reporting, is that RBI says that it followed a comprehensive audit that revealed what it called was persistent non-compliance and continued material supervisory concerns. What does this mean? आपको आसान भाषा में बताते हैं इसके बारे में. This basically means that one of the things that popped up during the RBI audit is that RBI found hundreds of Paytm accounts created without proper identification. These accounts created without, say, what we call, you and I now know very commonly as KYC, details of those transactions worth crores on the platform. That also meant that over 1,000 users were found to be linked with the same PAN number. Again, as per sources, this is unusually high number for any sort of dormant account, and a lot of these dormant accounts were also found. What does this basically tell you? That all in all, it looked like that there are concerns of money laundering. Now, these are serious charges, remember, and VSS, as the founder is popularly known as of Paytm, came out with a statement after that to his employees saying that they don't need to worry, nothing has gone wrong, and they're still sort of figuring out a solution on what to take of the RBI diktat, and that the money was safe. Money Control also learned that the annual report of Paytm actually showed that the board was confident that RBI would validate or at max give them, say, corrective measures. Nobody saw this coming. What's happened in the last 2 days? Let's tell you that. Now, Paytm share price has got some relief. It's rebound about 17% from the day's low. And also the group, some support came in. So a couple of Indian startup founders have now written to the Prime Minister, to the Finance Minister, even to the RBI, urging them to roll back on sanctions on Paytm. Now, this letter has been signed by some 12 founders, and they claim that such...
Welcome back. The UCC bill has passed in Uttarakhand Assembly. The Chief Minister, Mr. Dhami, is speaking currently on that historic occasion. Let's listen in.
आत्मबल कमजोर होता था, उनके आत्मबल को मजबूत करने का काम, उनको उत्थान की ओर ले जाने का काम, उनकी सर्वांगीण उन्नति के लिए ये कानून हमने बनाया है. ये सब बच्चों के भी हित में है, मातृशक्ति के भी हित में. इस कानून में जहां विवाह, तलाक, गुजारा भत्ता, उत्तराधिकार, लिव इन रिलेशनशिप जैसे जो अनेक महत्वपूर्ण विषय हैं, उन सभी विषयों को इस कानून में शामिल किया गया है. और लगभग 2 वर्षों के इस कालखंड में लगभग 12 फरवरी 2022 से हमने जब इसका संकल्प लिया था, उत्तराखंड की देवतुल्य जनता के सामने रखा था, उसके बाद हमने कमेटी का गठन किया था, ड्राफ्ट बनाने वाली कमेटी। उन कमेटी के सदस्यों का भी मैं उनका भी दिल से उनका धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं। उन्होंने विभिन्न वर्गों के बीच में जाकर उस कमेटी ने काम किया, विभिन्न धार्मिक संगठनों के लोगों से भी बात की, उन्होंने जनजातियों के बीच में जाकर भी बात की, अनेक संगठनों से बात की और लगभग 10,000 लोगों से कमेटी ने प्रत्यक्ष रूप से संवाद किया और 2,33,000 के लगभग लोगों के विचार इसमें लिए, सुझाव लेकर, और 43 बड़े जनसंवाद के कार्यक्रम किए, दिल्ली में भी कार्यक्रम किया और जो ड्राफ्ट बनाया उस ड्राफ्ट का हमने आकलन किया, हमारी मंत्रिपरिषद ने उसका आकलन किया, परीक्षण किया और उसके बाद उसको विधानसभा में विधेयक के रूप में प्रस्तुत किया। आज ये विधेयक पारित हो गया है और मैं देवभूमि उत्तराखंड की देवतुल्य जनता का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं, विधानसभा के सभी सदस्यों का जिन्होंने इसमें सहभागी होने का, जिनको ये अवसर मिला है, जिनके हाथों ये शुभ काम हुआ है, उन सब का धन्यवाद करता हूं और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद करते हुए कि उत्तराखंड की देवतुल्य जनता की तरफ से कि देश बनाने की तरफ उत्तराखंड आगे बढ़ा है, उत्तराखंड ने शुरुआत की है और भारतवर्ष के अन्य राज्यों से भी हमारी अपेक्षा रहेगी कि हमने इसको यहाँ पारित कर दिया है, यहाँ एक्ट बना दिया है, महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी के यहाँ इसको भेजेंगे और जल्दी महामहिम राष्ट्रपति जी के यहाँ से जैसे ही हमको स्वीकृति प्राप्त हो जाएगी तो हम इसको कानून के रूप में राज्य के अंदर लागू करेंगे और राज्य में लागू करने के लिए जो जरूरी व्यवस्थाएं हैं इतने दिनों में हम उन व्यवस्थाओं को भी सुनिश्चित करने का काम करेंगे। अंत में मैं आप सबका भी धन्यवाद करता हूं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
मुख्यमंत्री जी, कुछ लोगों का ये कहना है कि चुनाव के वक्त इस बिल को जानबूझकर लाया गया है जिससे इसका पॉलिटिकल माइलेज मिल सके।
देखिए, इस चुनाव के लिए चुनाव तो आ रहा है लेकिन हम इसको विधानसभा के चुनाव में लाए थे और सबसे बड़ी बात जो आप सबके सामने मैं स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं, मैं संजय भाई आपका बहुत आभारी हूं कि आपने ये प्रश्न पूछकर, मैं समझता हूं कि अपने अन्य साथियों की भी जो जिज्ञासा है उस जिज्ञासा का प्रश्न मेरे सामने किया है तो मैं बताना चाहता हूं।
Moving on, the entire Karnataka government ministers brought their protest against the centre over funds and allocations to the national capital today. Karnataka Chief Minister, Deputy Chief Minister, along with hundreds of Congress workers and leaders arrived at Jantar Mantar in New Delhi to protest against the centre. Karnataka Minister for Rural Development, Panchayati Raj, Information Technology Priyank Khadge has said that despite the state being an economic powerhouse, it gets shortchanged when it comes to devolution of funds and taxes. The protest is part of what the Karnataka Congress is describing as the South Tax movement on social media. Karnataka government also splashed full-page advertisements in several newspapers to publicize this Chalo Delhi protest. Meanwhile, BJP Karnataka MPs held a protest in front of the Gandhi statue in Parliament today over the alleged misuse of funds by the Karnataka government. But of course, this is a case that most southern states are now raising against the centre. Let's just break down what Karnataka government's contention has been. What is it that they're alleging? What has been the response of the centre? The Karnataka government alleges that non-BJP states are being deprived of their legitimate tax and GST dues, to which Nirmala Sitharaman from the centre has said that this is nothing but a politically vitiated narrative. Sitharaman government has claimed that they are generating 4.3 lakh crore rupees and are getting only 12 to 13% of the share. Nirmala Sitharaman reminded that the system is well in place and it works as per the Finance Commission. There is no wriggle room here. Karnataka government has said that the allocation for them used to be 4.71% during the previous time, but it has been slashed to 3.65. The finance minister has said that she cannot change the rules as per her whims and fancies, and the percentage of that share for each state is decided by those rules by the Finance Commission. Putting a figure to their losses, the Congress government claimed they had lost 45,000 crores in the last 4 years. Mind you, just because of the devolution of taxes. Their overall cases, they have lost 1.87 lakh crores if you add all other funds like grants, etc. Nirmala Sitharaman has countered this by saying that everything was hunky-dory till 6 months ago. So what has happened now? Mind you, 6 months ago, there was a BJP government in Karnataka. Finally, taxes paid by Kannadigas are not being useful for the state's difficult times is what the state government is saying. And this is really the divide that people are seeing is being built. That this is somehow against those in South versus those in North. Nirmala Sitharaman has also hit back saying that if the state is now suddenly spending more than it can afford, then they cannot blame the centre for that. Now, Karnataka minister has cited this example of North Indian states. They accuse North Indian states of getting more because BJP is discriminating against South India. Is there merit in that argument? I want to present to you, for example, how much Karnataka and Uttar Pradesh used to get earlier versus now. So, in 2012-13, when UPA was in power, Karnataka got 4.3% of the total taxes redistributed. Uttar Pradesh at that time stood at 19.6%. Now, in the NDA era, that share of Karnataka fell to 3.6%, so that's a decline of 0.7%. In the case of Uttar Pradesh, though, their percentage has also come down. Now it is at 17.9%. So, is the centre today favouring states like UP over southern states? In fact, the overall share of states has actually gone up under NDA from what it used to be under UPA. During UPA in 2012-2013, the state's share was fixed at 32%. Today, that share is at 41% as fixed by the Finance Commission. So, is there an argument then to say that centre is being stingy with the taxes now versus what it used to be? So, this South versus centre fund allocation debate, is this really about prejudice against the states, or is this parochialism rearing its ugly head to the extent that some are asking for a separate country? Let's take that to our guests. Dhruv Jati, spokesperson of the Congress, and Dr. Narendra Rangappa, spokesperson of Karnataka BJP, joining us. I do thank you for your time. Dhruv, in the document that the Karnataka government has now released, they say that devolution from the centre to our state has been decreasing continuously. They've given a chart from 2018 to 2024 estimates, 2024-2025 estimates. The question I want to ask you is that from 2018 to 2023, when the elections, 2023 when the elections were held, there was actually a BJP government in power in Karnataka for most of that time. Now, if you are saying that Karnataka's share came down during that time, that's one argument. You cannot then also say that the centre was discriminating against non-BJP states, because Karnataka had a BJP state till 6 months ago. So, which one is it?
Shivani, for long we've seen that the BJP MLAs, their MPs and their MLCs have been quite incompetent in Karnataka. And to bring to you fact is that, before I come across any other statement that I put forward, Karnataka stands number 2 in terms of any state in India that contributes to the entire taxes.
Your minister said number 3.
They stand at number 2. And they contribute to about 4.3 lakh crore rupees. Now, our demands are quite simple.
No, 1 second. Dhruv, I have read out what your demands and your claims are. Answer my question. The Karnataka government says there is a deliberate discrimination against non-BJP states. Karnataka had a BJP state till 6 months ago. So, when did this discrimination start?
Shivani, the BJP state in Karnataka was quite incompetent. It's as simple as that. It's exactly why they were voted out for power. And I will give you numbers to prove this. This starts with the FDI. What happened with FDI in Karnataka? The inflow in 2021 to 22 was 22 billion. What happened in 2023 to 2020? What happened from 2022 to 2023? It reduced to 10 billion. Now, we can even speak about the debt repayment liabilities.
So, if it has reduced, fine. No, 1 second. You're not answering my question. There is a... No, you're not. There is a... 1 second. There is a charge. If they were incompetent, fair enough, the BJP person will respond. My question to you is, there is a charge of political bias. If there was a BJP government in Karnataka till 6 months ago, and your claim is that Karnataka's share has been coming down over the last 5 years, when BJP was in power, then where is the political bias? Because the government at the centre was the same.
Shivani, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. The BJP state unit has been incompetent for 5 years. All they did in the last 5 years was tussling political power rivalries in the state And in fact, engaging in horse trading throughout, they were least bothered about the economy. And I brought you different points about speaking about the liabilities that the BJP government has put through in Karnataka. When they were in power, why didn't they, go ahead with the Mahadai project? What happened to the Mekadatu project when the BJP government was in power?
Okay,
what happened to the Upper Bhadra project that was in the BJP?
So if the BJP did not take this case up, it's a separate argument, but it still doesn't answer my question that the same NDA government was giving less to its same state government, right? That much at least you have to accept. Both your arguments cannot stand. The BJP Karnataka government was also getting less.
So, Shivani, how difficult is it to understand that the BJP government lacked guts to go and ask the centre for
okay, fine. But the centre was giving it less. The centre was giving the BJP government less.
Exactly my point.
Okay.
And the BJP
so then it was also giving its own state government less is what I wanted to establish, because the argument that South leaders are making today. Okay, fair enough. I'll take that to our BJP representative. But the argument we are hearing repeatedly today that North states, because BJP rules in North states, are being benefited at the expense of South state because BJP is not in power in South. BJP was in power in Karnataka till 6 months ago. In Rajasthan, which is one of the states that gets one of the highest allocations in terms of tax devolution, in Rajasthan for the last 5 years, BJP was not in power. So you have to then break down the bias argument for me. But I'll go across to Mr. Rangappa. Mr. Rangappa, the point is this, that as Mr. Jati is saying, that your government was least interested, one, in fighting for the state's due share, because you had a BJP government at the center, you didn't want to pick a fight with them. But the fight that the current Karnataka government is picking is fair. They want a greater share because they give more.
Madam, this Siddaramaiah government has totally failed in all fronts. So they want to cover up their failures by diverting attention into such statics. Because the Siddaramaiah government, I'll give you one simple example, has badly failed in collecting taxes. Till December, the tax collections from BJP's government was around 82% out of the 238 lakh crore, whereas they have collected only 161%, that is only 60% achievement, number one. Number two, the tax devolutions have increased. Tax devolutions have increased by nearly 140%. And the Siddaramaiah government has not been able to open single nodal accounts to get funds from the center. So they have failed in numerous examples. I can go on delivering examples like this. This is the reason that they are trying to divert the attention, because Mr. Bommai's last budget was a surplus budget in Karnataka. So the next budget presented by Siddaramaiah was a 50,000 deficit budget, 50,000 crore deficit budget in Karnataka.
Okay.
So where is the physical
Okay, Dhruv Jati, you want to respond to that? Even Nirmala Sita, 1 second, sir. Sir, I have limited time.
One last point.
Okay.
One last point. And the rule, regulation and the constitution is same for each and every person in India. There is no discrimination and criterions are also remaining the same.
Okay. Dhruv Jati, please respond to this, because the center also says that you are spending more than your means, which is why suddenly you have a fund crunch.
So in terms of responding to Dr. Rangappa's first statement, the entire reason why Karnataka has been finding it difficult to collect taxes is because that 223 out of 236 taluks have been affected severely by drought. 123 of them have been severely affected. Now, when the Karnataka government went to Delhi and not just placed the files of 17,900 crores at the finance minister, union minister's desk, why wasn't this acknowledged? How many months has it been that the Karnataka Congress government has been asking for justice for the power of Karnataka? How many months has it been? So please, you tell me. And you speak about achievement of collecting taxes. People of Karnataka have been suffering in the state. Now let me bring to you about
what
the entire...
Can you tell me? You are the government who has said there will be no development in the state. You are the government. First government maybe in Indian history to say that you have no developmental funds. Then what else would you want the
Only
money for?
14.13 lakh beneficiaries of the state had social security, and the government of Karnataka has been paying off 64.21 lakhs because the Bharatiya Janata Party has not been contributing to it. This has been the injustice of the central government towards the state of Karnataka.
Can I just come in on the issue of the injustice? Dhruv Jati, I want to ask you, as far as the share of states in central taxes is concerned, it is decided by the Finance Commission. The parameters are also decided by the Finance Commission. This is what Nirmala Sitharaman has been saying. They are the same for everyone. She has no discretion. She has no wriggle room in this. So on what basis are you suggesting that there is some sort of an prejudice here? Because the same was done when UPA was in power. If your argument, basic argument is that northern states or some of the poorer states used to get more out of the central kitty. That was the case earlier too. I have run the example of Uttar Pradesh. In fact, Uttar Pradesh's share has come down under NDA.
Shivani, the basic argument that we have been making over here is that Karnataka has been a drought hit state in this past year. And we have been rightfully asking for what we deserve. And do you think it's wrong for a state that contributes, in fact, out of every 100 rupees a person or taxpayer in Karnataka gets 20 rupees per? Do you think it's wrong that Karnataka's are asking for their entire right over here? And coming back to what you were saying,
Dhruv, the problem is this, on the face of it, the argument doesn't seem wrong. You give 1 rupee, you would expect 1 rupee or you would expect a little bit more from the center. The problem is this, that this system has existed for forever. The finance distribution system exists like this, whether it was the BJP or the Congress in power.
Understood and fair, but what I'm trying to say is that the last year for Karnataka has been
What you are trying to say is you want to break the federal system of the nation.
In the entire state.
You want to break
and
the federal system of the nation.
And if you look at
This
the
is what you are
statement given by
trying
the
to
Deputy
say.
Chief Minister,
You want
he
to
has
break
quite
the nation.
clearly stated that the Finance Commission
want to
in
break
fact
the nation.
has
Be clear.
the amount of leverage that the Finance
be
Commission
clear.
influence
You want to break the nation.
towards it.
One
What
second.
happened, and you also look at the states, and you can go through the gift city that was given to Gujarat over here. Was it necessary
1
at that
second.
point of time?
Like I said, there has to be some solution provided to the alleged problem that states that produce more are not getting their fair share. So that solution is what I am not understanding so far. Is the solution to do away with the Finance Commission? Is the solution कि जो जितना देता है उसको उतना ही मिलेगा, तो आप ये suggest करिए, you should suggest that everybody should get according to what they make, because that's not how our country runs. In fact, that's not how resources are allocated in any any kind of society. The more well-to-do have to take care of the less well-to-do, right? In society, we talk about the haves having to take care of the have-nots. So this whole rich versus poor argument is mind-boggling. But I have final minute left. I'll ask you. The allegation against the Congress narrative is that this is dividing North versus South. That this is actually pitting one section of the country against another. The Prime Minister today called it a mentality to divide the country. Your response, Dhruv?
See, I have a very simple response to this. The funds in projects that have been put across in opposition rule states, because this is the demand that we have been highly delayed in all the southern Indian states. And this talks about the aims in Madurai, the Upper Bhadra project, the second phase Chennai Metro. We're talking about various projects, in fact, in Kerala, the midday meal schemes, Manrega funds, Upper Bhadra, and all these funds. This is specifically why so in opposition states. Why so that there is a discrimination? And don't you call this anti-federalism? Is it so that if anybody votes for the Congress party or any one of its allies, that the Bharatiya Janata Party goes on to deny those states the funds?
But that's an allegation you're making. In even the list that the Karnataka government has presented in grants, if in 2021-22 it was 15,000 crores, in 2022-23 it's 18,000. And it looks like it is coming down as far as the estimates for this year and next year are concerned. But to suggest that we are not getting anything or that there has been some sort of a discrimination is quite another thing. In any case, grants work on a separate system, so I'll not get into that. Mr. Rangappa, final 30 seconds to you as well. Should the center also do a better job of explaining why what is happening is happening?
Madam, it is a very clearly existing and running system that the state government is completely involved in the decision making, sitting with the Finance Commission. whether it is the 14th or 15th. And most of the chief ministers and ministers should be attending a finance commission and put their case forward there. Not in the public in Jantar Mantar and trying to fool the people of the country. It is still not on. And you can't break the federal system of the country. We have to
both
leave for
sides
others, and
are
the others have to
alleging
leave
that
for
the
us.
other is breaking the federalism or the federal structure in the country. We'll have to leave it at that. I do thank our guests for joining us. Time for me to take your leave. My colleague Rahul Shivshankar is joining you.
Viewers, for the first time ever, a BJP constitutional post holder has thrown weight behind the movement to reclaim the contested sites of Kashi and Mathura. The official sanction for the Mandir Vaksi, so to speak, of Mathura